I stood frozen, staring at the gleaming steel fence that now wrapped my entire ranch like a noose. A bold sign hung dead center on the locked gate. Private property, no trespassing. My own land, my sanctuary, sealed off as if I were the intruder. I gripped the gate and shook it, but it didn't give an inch. 2 days, that's all I'd been gone. Visiting my mom in Houston. 2 days and now someone, or rather the HOA that had been hounding me for months, had the audacity to fence me out. A heavy padlock mocked me from the gate. No key, no code. Just that smug sign acting like it owned the place. But here's the kicker. Instead of raging or calling a lawyer like they probably expected, I did something wilder. I bought the tiny patch of land the gate sat on, the one holding the only key. Oh, you're not ready for what happened next, but let me tell you how it all unfolded. My name's Caleb Holt, 43, a retired firefighter living on a 40-acre ranch just outside Austin, Texas. After years of running into burning buildings, I scraped together enough to buy this slice of heaven where I could raise horses, grow peaches, and wake up to nothing but birdsong. For the first year, it was perfect. No neighbors, just quiet that soothed the soul. Then came the HOA. Not mine. My ranch was free and clear of any neighborhood nonsense. But some hotshot developer built a ritzy housing estate called Crestview Pines right next door, and with it came their shiny new HOA. At first, I shrugged it off. They chose to move next to me, not the other way around. My land had fences, signs, clear boundaries. But those Crestview folks had other plans. It started with letters, official-looking ones whining about my barn's color or demanding I hide my tractor from their sightlines. I laughed and tossed them in the trash. My property wasn't under their thumb. Then came the visits. Some guy, Victor Klein, showed up with a name badge and a smirk, preaching about their unified aesthetic. He said my ranch clashed with their vibe. I offered him a shovel of horse manure to match his attitude, and he didn't come back. But the HOA didn't quit. Soon I spotted surveyor flags near my fence, then strangers with clipboards snapping photos of my property line. One mumbled about a boundary reevaluation before scurrying off. I'd had my land surveyed when I bought it. Everything was legal. But I sensed trouble brewing, so I swung by the county clerk's office, where an old-timer behind the desk warned me, "Son, if that HOA's got you in their sights, they'll try anything." He wasn't kidding. A week later, I drove to Houston to check on my mom after her surgery. 2 nights, that's it. When I rolled back, there it was, a silver fortress of a fence circling my entire ranch, heavy steel mesh like a prison wall. No warning, no note, just a locked gate on a 5x5 plot jutting out from Crestview Pines. A quick online search revealed that plot had been snapped up by the HOA 2 weeks earlier. They were clever, I'll give them that. They didn't touch my land. They just fenced their border, trapping me inside it. To reach the gate, I'd have to step on their soil, and they owned the only key. I was livid, but I didn't scream or call the cops. I made one call to my buddy Marcus, a real estate guy who owed me for helping rebuild his shed after a fire. "Find out who owns that gate plot," I said. "I want it." 3 days later, Marcus called back laughing. "You're not going to believe this. The guy who sold that strip to the HOA still owns the land right behind it, connecting to the road." I wired the money before he finished talking. That strip, plus the shed holding the gate key, was mine. But I kept it quiet. I waited for the weekend, when Crestview Pines threw a fancy family picnic. I pulled up in my beat-up Chevy, hopped out with a massive no trespassing sign, and started hammering it into my new land. Victor Klein stormed over, khakis flapping. "What the hell are you doing?" he snapped. I grinned. "Putting up a sign on my land." His jaw dropped as I handed him the deed. "Oh, and this key?" I dangled it before pocketing it. "Guess I'll let myself into my ranch now." You'd think that'd be the end, but Crestview Pines doubled down. The next morning, a convoy of SUVs and golf carts roared onto my land through my new strip, parking inches from my porch. Victor led the charge, flanked by 2 board members and a woman in a suit, Lillian Harper, their legal counsel. Victor thrust a folder at me. "We need to talk, Mr. Holt." Lillian stepped up, lips tight. "You're violating HOA zoning policies, trespassing on community property." I blinked. Trespassing? On my land? She pointed to a map. Your ranch is inside our secured perimeter, classified as internal green space. Victor chimed in. We've petitioned the county to reclassify it. You'll follow our rules soon enough. I nearly choked. They were trying to swallow my ranch whole without my consent. I called my cousin Ethan, a top-notch land use attorney. On speaker, he barked, "You've got 3 seconds to leave before we hit you with trespassing and harassment charges." Lillian tried arguing, but Ethan rattled off property codes until she clammed up. They left, but I knew they weren't done. Needing a break, I drove into town for a burger at the diner. Sheriff Tom Riggs, an old firefighting buddy, slid into my booth. "Heard you're stirring up trouble," he grinned. "HOA's saying you're barricading their members, planning a rogue ranch state." I laughed, but he leaned in. They messed with the wrong Texan. That night, brushing my horses, I heard shovels outside. Flashlight in hand, I crept toward the noise. 3 men in vests were digging a trench just beyond my fence on my new land. A walkie-talkie crackled, "Keep digging, secondary access by sunrise." I launched my drone, catching their blueprints on camera, until a spotlight hit it, followed by a rifle's click. A warning shot sent my drone crashing. I hid behind a hay bale, heart pounding. Who were these people? By morning, I sent the footage to Ethan and Tom. But when I got back from the feed store, a construction crew was paving a road across my land, complete with a sign, "Crestview Pines North Entrance, HOA property." Lillian watched from afar, smiling like she'd won. They thought they had me cornered, but they forgot I held the gate key and their future. I called a county inspector, Hank Grayson, a guy I'd saved from a barn fire years back. He walked their road, snapping photos, muttering, "No permit? Through your land? They're toast." When Crestview's security goons rolled up, Hank flashed his badge. "You just told a county inspector to vacate private land you illegally paved." They slunk off, but that night 2 masked men broke into my barn, dousing hay with gasoline. My cameras caught it all. Sheriff Tom reviewed the tape, cursing. "They wanted your barn gone, maybe you with it." I wasn't just fighting now. I was hunting. I visited old man Clarence, who'd sold me the gateland. Over iced tea, he grinned. "Still owns strips through their rec center, their fountain, even their clubhouse lot." I bought a 6-foot-wide path cutting through their parking lot and slapped a private property sign on it. Victor came raging, waving a court order. "You're endangering our community." I leaned on my fence. "Who fenced who first, Victor?" They filed to seize my land, claiming I was a public nuisance. Court was in a week. I called Senator Luke Tanner, a guy I'd pulled from a wreck years ago. "Be ready," he warned. "They play dirty." He was right. The next day, a bulldozer roared toward my porch. I yelled, but the driver kept coming, muttering about paperwork. Tom's squad car screeched in, lights blazing. He yanked a forged permit from the driver. Felony fraud. That night, I sat with my shotgun, my dog scout at my feet. This wasn't about land anymore. It was war. So I sent every scrap of evidence, drone footage, fake permits, arson tapes, to Sarah Miles, a reporter known for gutting corruption. She filmed my story and it aired at 6 p.m. HOA gone rogue, rancher fights land grab. It exploded online, 3 million views in a day. Protesters swarmed Crestview's office with signs, "Leave Caleb alone." But Crestview didn't fold. A bank letter claimed I owed $17,000 for fence shadows and unauthorized horses. I owned my land outright, no mortgage. Ethan got the fake bills tossed, but then my power was cut. Lines sliced clean. They wanted me weak. I wasn't. I'd learned their weakness. Their HQ sat on Clarence's land, now mine. The day before court, I nailed an eviction notice to their glass doors, cameras rolling. Victor ripped it down, screaming, "This won't hold!" I smirked. "See you in court." That night, Lillian appeared at my gate, alone, holding a flash drive. "I'm done," she croaked, handing it over. Memos, emails, proof they planned it all. Road, foreclosure, barn fire. I took it, stunned. In court, Ethan laid it bare. Fake documents, illegal fence, arson attempt, all backed by Lillian's drive. Judge Ellen Pike's pen clicked sharply. This is an organized assault on a citizen's rights. She fined Crestview $500,000, dismissed their claims, and ordered an investigation. Hours later, Victor and the board were cuffed and hauled off. But I wasn't done. That strip they paved, I owned it. At sunrise, trucks rolled in, building Freedom Arena, a rodeo venue right behind their precious entrance. Neighbors gawked as posts rose, kids cheered, and Sarah broadcast live. The gate key belongs to the man with the arena. I hosted a barbecue, ranchers, vets, kids with lassos. Crestview crumbled, homes sold, their gates stayed down. A new HOA head, Tara, wrote apologizing, inviting me to their events. I didn't reply. My arena said it all. They tried to fence me in, but I built something bigger, louder, freer, and in the end, I was the only one still standing. Thank you for watching Touching Story. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales of resilience and justice. See you in the next one.